Now listen lads, I'm not one for conspiracy theories, but anyone who thinks that something incredibly dodgy isn't happening behind the scenes with Premier League referees is naive at best or outright ignorant at worst. As I'm sure you're all aware by now, the officials for the game between Spurs and Liverpool were freelancing in the UAE 48 hours prior to kickoff, a country whose Vice President and Deputy Prime Minister Sheikh Mansour happens to own an entire football club in the Prem. What might be less known however is that the UAE Football Association has held direct talks with City Football Group Chief Executive Ferran Soriano about a framework of joint cooperation, and given the 115 charges City face off the pitch for cheating, you'd have to be living under a rock to believe they won't be doing their utmost to impact what's happening on it. Just so you know, the UAE Pro League's main sponsor is the Abu Dhabi National Oil Company, whose board members include Man City chairman Khaldoon Al Mubarak. Now, the PGMOL stressed the importance of optics on an almost regular basis. It's precisely why Newcastle United supporter Michael Oliver isn't allowed to referee theirs or rival Sunderland's games, yet these regular trips to the Middle East are A-okay. Sorry, but I'm not buying that for 1 second. Moving on to the audio that's come out over the last 48 hours, I'm flabbergasted that more isn't being made of the fact that fourth official Michael Oliver's line of communication has been completely excluded from the clip. We haven't been provided with a single reason why that may be, and believe it or not, certain sections of the press are trying to gaslight us fans into thinking this entire ordeal was our fault. I suppose we should just keep our mouths shut and accept apologies from the PGMOL every fortnight without ever questioning what's taking place before our eyes. As for the actual conversation between the officials, I can completely see why they refuse to provide transparency to viewers like other sports, because that honestly sounded like something you'd expect to hear from high schoolers working on a group project over a bloody Zoom call. The sequence of events are truly mind-boggling too. Darren England draws the lines to check for offside, comes to the wrong conclusion in a split second, and then gets a pat on the back for doing a shitty job. The only bloke who was interested in making the correct decision was the replay operator, who repeatedly urged the VAR assistant to delay the game as the on-field decision was onside. Hell, even Ollie Kohut, who happens to be the VAR operations executive, rallied the message over that play should be stopped at all costs, but neither Dan Cook or his mate in the hot seat were willing to do so. I've seen journalists in some quarters suggesting that we can't blame them for losing focus, and honestly, they should shut the fuck up. Not only do these guys sitting in a quiet aircon room with slow motion replays dictate the fortunes of managers and football clubs worth millions of pounds, but they also don't have a patch pressure wise on air traffic controllers who are sat staring at a monitor for up to 12 hours a day with lives on the line. So forgive me for not having too much sympathy for them. On a side note, what on earth is up with this whole check complete malarkey? Just say if it's onside or offside for fuck's sake. Ambiguous language such as the one they've currently adopted adds unnecessary confusion to an otherwise straightforward situation. Last but not least, the aforementioned officials will not be allowed to oversee any Liverpool games for the remainder of the season. If this was truly a human error, then surely there's no need to punish these innocent individuals in such a draconian manner. Like I've mentioned in previous videos, the fact that the best league on the planet refuses to have the same semi-automated technology we saw at the Qatar World Cup all boils down to referees wanting to have a say on the final decision, even if it leads to more inaccuracy, and I truly believe that says it all about the corruption we're witnessing. Let me know your own take down below, and I'll catch you in the next one, folks. Peace.